Today, we're going to be talking about getting started with Zoho remotely. So, my name is Lyra Mackay, and I'm an evangelist at Zoho. And usually, what that means is that I travel and I attend lots of events and I meet all of our customers and present at events. Um, but now, obviously, we're not able to do that because of all of the travel restrictions because of coronavirus, which is very sad because I do love chatting with all of you at events and meeting everyone. But for now, my job has been about, um, organizing these webinars and running them for you to learn about our new bundle of applications, and that is Zoho Remotely. So, just a few housekeeping things before we get started. It's best if you're using Chrome or Firefox or the Showtime Viewer app on if you're using a mobile or tablet. If you're not, that's fine. If there are any issues throughout, like a bad connection, just try and refresh. And then otherwise, we will have the recording for you. So then, yes, there's a recording. We'll send it to you afterwards. Should be ready in a few hours after the webinar is finished. If you have any questions, post them in the question tab. That would be awesome. And I can, because we have a small group today, I can answer them throughout. I'll have a look throughout, but we will have time at the end as well. And then you can also use the chat tab if you want to just answer some of the polls that I'll be doing or have a chat. So our agenda today is firstly, actually, I'm going to talk a bit about Zoho as a company, and then I'll jump into Zoho remotely. And then I'll show you all of the tools available for remote work within the Remotely platform. Then I'll show you a demo of the admin panel, which is very straightforward, and it will be just a short demo. And then I'll show you some next steps, so where to go to after the webinar, and then we'll answer those questions. I just want to talk a bit about Zoho for a second. So, Zoho as a company has been around for 24 years, and that might shock some of you because, in general, in the tech industry, not many people have heard of us. And that's because instead of spending money in marketing, we tend to spend a lot of money in engineering, in product development, and in research and design. So, I'm saying this because if you're wondering about the capabilities of, Zoho Remotely, our bundle of free applications, and whether they'll be able to support the needs of your organization, they definitely can. So Zoho has it'd be about 9,500 employees now. So this slide's a bit old. So we have 9,500 employees all working together across multiple countries, cities, and time zones, and in multiple different departments. And we all use Zoho One, which is our I'll explain it in a second. It's our big bundle of apps. So we all run on Zoho, which is just really cool to know. And we all love it. I'll explain a few of the applications that I use heavily. Yeah. So this is how we like to lay out our product offering. So at the bottom, you'll see all of the applications, and you can purchase them as standalone applications if you're only wanting to use one of the Zoho applications, or you can purchase a few. If you're going to purchase a few, you should have a look at the pricing because it is generally cheaper going for a platform. So you can see these platforms here. We've got the customer experience platform, finance, HR, collaboration, commerce. We've also got a workplace platform, which has sort of some like communication and productivity tools. I'll talk about some of those tools today. And the platforms is where Zoho Remotely will fit in as well. So it is free until the 1st of July 2020, this year. At that time, we will assess the situation with coronavirus globally and either extend that free period or we will put a price on it. And if you're familiar with Zoho's pricing, it will be very similar, very, affordable for you. So, but you'll know well ahead of time what we are going to do with the Zoho Remotely platform. Zoho as a company is very, passionate about our privacy. So that's one of our core values. And a lot of companies talk about privacy and how it's very important for them. But I think that they drop the ball in many ways because of how many other organizations they involve in their business practices. So maybe the company really does value your privacy, but then they're using another vendor to run their servers and somehow the data is compromised. Or a company says they value their privacy, your privacy, but then they use your data to develop, projects, something you know nothing about. So this stuff can be common, especially with free versions of applications. Typically, when you think of free versions, you think of ads. So with Zoho, that is very different. We are absolutely committed to your privacy because we value our privacy. That's one of the big reasons why we are a private bootstrapped company. So we've never taken money from investors. Our CEO has made it very clear that we don't ever intend to go public. And that just means that we don't have shareholders that we need to please. The only people we need to please are our customers and obviously our staff. So we're very aware that our customers have built our business. And this is the reason that Zoho Remotely is free right now, because our customers have stood by us all these years. And in these times when these kind of remote tools are really needed, we are standing by you, offering them for free. So even though Remotely is free right now, we don't own your data, you do. We will never sell your data, and you'll never see any ads in the products. Okay, Paul said, I think that was in response to the poll. I'm already using Zoho One and need to know what I'm missing in terms of apps. Awesome. So you'll definitely get a lot of value out of this because all of the apps I'm talking about today are available in Zoho One as well. But I can always send you an email afterwards and we can have a nice chat about some other applications that may benefit you as well. And I'll give you all my email. Feel free to reach out to me personally, and I can help direct you to the right support person, or I can try and send you as many resources as I have. Okay. So these are the 10 applications included in Zoho Remotely. And they're designed to help you in the transition to working from home and to help your business carry on its operations with a scattered workforce, while maintaining a high productivity. So generally, Remotely was sort of designed to help beginners set up their office from home. How do you get started collaborating and maintaining communication with your employees? But maybe you have been working from home for a long time and this is just your opportunity to streamline things. Or maybe you are someone who is already using Zoho applications and you just want to learn a bit more about what you can do with them. So many of us may be used to being able to get up and talk to our colleagues, and it might be really, really hard transitioning into working from home. So these apps are to help you, try and maintain communication with your colleagues. And we've broken up the apps into 4 different categories. So they are communication, collaboration, remote assistance, and productivity. And you can see this is how all of the apps are broken up to here. So we have Click, Meeting, and Showtime in communication, Work Drive, Projects, and Sprints in collaboration, our Office Suite, Writer Sheet, and Show in productivity, and Assist is one of our remote assistance tools. Excuse me. So yeah, communication is a really, really big one. Many of us are used to getting up and talking to someone face to face. So how do you do that when working from home? Collaboration, this is important because you need to remain a team even when you can't see each other. So how do you keep things on track when working remotely? Remote assistance, you obviously can't stop supporting your customers just because you're working from home. So Assist is a way to do that. And then productivity, you need to centralize everything and make it really easy to interact with your team. And you'll see many of the apps actually cross over a little bit, but this is just how we've decided to categorize them. Okay. So first up, I want to talk about our communication tools available in Remotely. So these are Click Meeting and Showtime. So Click is the cornerstone for unified communications, and it is our sort of team chat tool. And you can see here on this slide, this little screenshot, that this is the Click app available on desktop and on mobile. And I use both of these very, very heavily. So, and all of the, every single employee at Zoho uses Click a lot. And I really enjoy using it. I think it's a really, really good application. So I know that that's coming from me, a Zoho employee, but if you have used it, I'm sure you really like it and enjoy it as well. The cool thing is that you have these, you have your contacts that you can chat to, but you also have these different channels here. And you can see this is a marketing channel. And it just makes it really easy for people to communicate with each other. So at Zoho, we have a channel dedicated to every application, and then every application for support. So if I were to need support for one application, I would just message in that channel. And it's just, it reduces the noise of, and especially with 9,500 employees, how do I know who to message, who's the right person to message for every little thing that comes up? So it's just really easy, message in that channel and get a response. And you can see that you can share files as well. And then within Click, you also have these bots. So to do a little reminder and a little to-do list as well. And all of that functionality is available on the mobile version as well. So within Click, you can do chat, audio, video, and web conferencing, and that's all built in. This is the video conferencing here, web conferencing. And then another cool thing about Click is that it is actually, there's a mini version of Click embedded across the platform. So it's available in every application in Zoho Remotely and most of them in Zoho One. But you can see this little smart bar down here. So this is in actually Zoho Mail, which is not included in Remotely. But you can see this little bar down here. And if you were to just click on that, your chats, channels, and contacts would pop up, just so you're never missing anything. And you can see we've got a channel here because there's a little hash symbol. And this is a one-on-one conversation with someone. So if you want to learn more about Click, I go into it a lot deeper in tomorrow's webinar. It's called Communicate and Collaborate with Zoho Remotely. Feel free to register for that. And then, like I said, we will also be doing an advanced series down the track starting in a few weeks. So let me know if you're interested in that as well. Dina said that you purchased Zoho One, would love to learn more about Marketing Hub. Okay, so Marketing Hub is not included in Remotely, but I can give you some direction on where to go for some more information on that. Okay, so moving on to Zoho Meeting. Now, Zoho Meeting is our online meeting and webinar solution. So that we also have Zoho Showtime, which I will talk about in a second, and which is what I'm using to run this webinar. But basically, you can choose either or. Showtime has a bit more functionality in terms of webinars, but Meeting is really good for audio, video, and screen sharing within your team. You'll notice that Click also does similar things. If you need a bit more of a robust meeting, I would choose, if you need a bit more of, a robust application to run your meetings, I would choose Meeting over Click. And then if you wanted to do some, bigger webinars, I would choose Showtime over Meeting. But it's really up to you. They do very similar things. But basically, Zoho Meeting allows you to hold online meetings with real-time audio, video, and screen sharing. And you can initiate or join meetings from anywhere. You don't have to download anything, and it just helps you collaborate really effectively. And there are some really useful moderator controls as well. So you can see here that this is a webinar because we've got a little Q&A and some polls, and you can record it as well. And then you can select Alicia Banks, and you can choose that she's able to talk, or you can make her the presenter. Say if you're having a meeting with, or even a webinar with someone else, and you want them to add something to the conversation, you can allow them to talk, make them presenters so they can show their screen. And it's just a really good way to collaborate with your team or with your customers. So yeah, that you can let your team members take over the meeting as well. So this is what it looks like in a meeting. You've got your chat. You can also lock the meeting. So even if someone has the meeting link, maybe if you're talking about some sensitive information, they join the meeting and then you have to sort of allow them into the meeting as well. And then there is Zoho Showtime. So like I said, similar to Meeting, personally, I like the Showtime user interface better for running webinars, but Meeting works great for audio calls and screen sharing with your team. Originally, Showtime was actually developed as a platform to run a classroom style training session. So for example, the presenter is on stage and the students can stream the class from their device. Maybe the room is like really big and people at the back can't see, if you think of like a uni lecture theatre. Then the students can ask questions and answer polls from the application. But then when coronavirus and all the lockdowns started, we decided to develop it out a bit more so that you could actually run webinars on it as well. And yeah, it just has a few more features than Meeting. It's a bit more robust. So you can choose between remote sessions, face-to-face sessions, obviously when this is the classroom style training I was talking about, and then on demand, so recorded sessions. And then with Showtime, you can also take payment for running your online classes. So say if you were like a gym or if you were someone who was exchanging content for like a subscription or some form of payment, you could do that really well with Showtime. And then Showtime also has a whiteboard function so that you can explain something really easily if you wanted to do that. And here are just some differences between Meeting and Showtime. You can have a read of that. So basically, audio calls, video calls and screen sharing, webinars, secure sessions for Meeting, and then more robust, sort of bigger webinars, classroom style sessions, on demand and paid trainings. And then LMS is the learning management system, which was coming soon. I'm not sure if we're still doing that for Showtime because we have brought out Zoho Classes, which is designed for more classroom style training. But if you're interested in that, let me know and I can follow that up for you. So next up is our collaboration tools. And also let me know if I'm going too fast. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the question tab as well. So WorkDrive is, collaboration, we have WorkDrive, projects, and sprints. WorkDrive is your centralized repository for all of your files. And it's a unified file management system made for teamwork specifically. So you can create different groups and set access based on their roles. You can capture ideas instantly. The Office suite is built in within WorkDrive, so you can create, write a sheet, and show documents instantly from WorkDrive. And it's really, really easy to search for files as well. You can also track your activity. So if someone were to edit a document that you have access to, it would show up as unread. And you can see that here in the unread tab. That means someone has edited a document that you have access to. And instead of them editing the document and then maybe sending out a big email to the team or even over Click and saying like, hey, I've edited or updated this document, have a look at it, you can really easily see all of those updates available within WorkDrive there, right in front of you when you first log into it. And so this is what it looks like on desktop, and it's also available on mobile as well. And here you can see you've got your folders. So those are your personal folders there. And then you've got a bunch of team folders. So I would assume that this person is quite high up in the organization because they clearly have access to a bunch of different team folders. And the ones with the locks on them are folders that have been, that only a handful of people have been given access to. So these other folders are sort of just company-wide folders that anyone within the company can sort of access. And you can also set those access rights and permissions based on the role. So if you were to have an intern in your company and you gave them, say, intern access, maybe they would only have access to, I don't know, if they were doing HR operations or just even the general folder. You can set all of that up in the admin panel or within the settings for the applications as well. And then within WorkDrive, you can also create private and public team folders. So that means that people outside of your organization can see the files that you want them to see. And you can see here that there's also a little blue draft icon, and that is good. So when you first create a document and you're, putting information in it or you're editing it, it is not available within the public, and not public as in with external people, but within your organization-wide public folder. It won't be shown to people until you mark it as ready. So if you have half a document that you don't necessarily want people reading right now because it's not finished, that's really easy to do. It'll still be shown for you, but not for anyone else. And then you can mark it as ready so that people can access that document. And when you mark it as ready, it will show up for your teammates in the unread section as well. And I use WorkDrive a lot for, I'm in a bunch of different folders for some different teams, for some Zoho One teams, for some remotely teams. And it just means that we all have access to the documents. We don't have to constantly be asking our team, oh, hey, do you have this document? And yeah, it's got more of a team design in mind. And then, yeah, you can search really easily. So you can type in some text, and if that's available in one of the documents, then those files or documents will show up there as well. And then if you were to click new, you could start a new writer sheet or show document. You can also upload, you can see we've got a PDF here. You can upload .docx files, or so that's like a Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, and you can upload them as as a .docx, and you can edit it in Writer and then export it as a .docx or as a PDF or as a Writer document and share that. So if you want to share externally with people who aren't using Zoho, you can do that really easily with WorkDrive, and that's all available within WorkDrive, which is just really useful. I've done that a bunch of times. So yeah. And WorkDrive is also one of the applications that I will talk about tomorrow in my Communicate and Collaborate webinar. I'll go into some more detail. I'll show you some writer documents and some cool things you can do within that as well. So if you're interested, definitely register for that. Next up is Zoho Projects, and that is our project management tool. So if you're familiar with project management tools, Projects is our waterfall project management application. And that means that you start with a milestone, and then under that there's a bunch of task lists, and then under those lists are a bunch of different tasks, and you can set subtasks as well. You can also create dependencies between tasks. And so for example, if you were building a house, you can't put the kitchen in until the structure is built. So that would be dependent on the structure being built. And you can see here this little one with a flag, that is a milestone. And then you've got a task list and some tasks under here. And these lines are the dependencies. There is another webinar on project management, on the project management tools as well, which is really useful. It goes into more detail here. And then it's available on mobile as well. So you can also, within projects, you can delegate tasks to your team, and you can schedule when these should be done by. You can view the whole project calendar to figure out your daily, weekly, and monthly schedules. And your team can then also comment on all of the milestones and tasks, and you can share the information with your client as well. So maybe they can see that because a shipment was delayed a day, some work couldn't be done. So that's been pushed back a day, and it just stops them from, calling you every day and getting an update on the project. They can just see that information there. And then if you don't want them to have access to that and you do want them calling you for updates, that's fine. You can not give them access to the project. And like I said, we have milestones, tasks, and subtasks for your projects. And then within the project dashboard, you can see all of the milestones and how far along you are in them and when they are done by and who is organizing them. So you've got all this information here as well. And then, yeah, like I said, you can set dependencies for different tasks. So, yeah, these are the different sorts of dependencies here. And then there's also a Kanban view to see your progress. So there's classic, plain, and Kanban. And, you can always go into projects and have a look for yourself, but or watch our projects webinar. But the Kanban view is really helpful in seeing what tasks you have open in progress, and then to be tested and then closed as well. And you can really easily drag and drop between these. So say if you wanted to start this task, you can move it to in progress. Oh, sorry. If you were finished this task, for now, you could move it to be tested, or you could just close it straight away. So just one thing to note is that projects is more for if you have a clear outline of your milestones and tasks. Maybe you have done this exact job before, or not exact, but very similar. Maybe you've done it before, you know how long it's going to take you. And then sprints, which I will go into now, is for agile project management. So it's a little more niche. It's very useful for something like a design team where they are trying to design something, but you're not sure how long step 1 or step 3 will take. And so sprints is better at adapting to change. So there's very similar functionality. You can collaborate with your team, in real time. You can view some pretty awesome dashboards to get an overview of where things stand within your projects. There are powerful analytics, and then you can track your progress in like a Scrum board style. So within sprints, you would have first, if you were to start using sprints, you would create within your backlog a project backlog. And basically that's just all the tasks that you have to get done for your project. And then you would group those tasks into sprints. And maybe those sprints would be like category specific, or they would be person specific, whatever you really want to do. And you would move them into the sprint backlog, and then you would start that sprint. And that sprint would last typically from 2 to 4 weeks, depending on your project. And then once you started that sprint, it would move into the Scrum board. So you can see that this is one of the sprints, Zilka Airlines purchase flight ticket. But you can see all of your to-do tasks, and then your in development tasks and whether it has to be tested. And then it's also available on mobile as well. So like I said, sprints is really, really good at adapting to change. So if you were to, so basically at the end of your sprint, if that was finished, you could get some, you could show it to your team, you could get some feedback on that, or you could also show it to your customer and you could get feedback on that. If they wanted something changed, you could simply add it back to the project backlog, and then add it to a new sprint. And it's just really easy to constantly change and add more information in, add more, whatever the customer wants, you can add that in as a task and then really easily move it into the sprints and get that done. Whereas projects is sort of like you want to have everything sort of clearly outlined before you get started in the project. So if you are familiar with your projects, then I would use projects. If you are not sure how long it's going to take or how many changes there will need to be, then I would use sprints. And yeah, you can also watch the projects webinar or just ask me a question And if it's something specific to you, I can, follow that up with the team, or I can send you an email as well. So moving on to Zoho Assist. Now, Zoho Assist is our remote customer support tool. It is great for IT teams to manage and troubleshoot your remote assets. And so what happens is your team requests access from a customer, and they can take over that customer's computer to fix the issue. Now, it's a lot easier, quicker, and less stressful for your customers. I recently had a Zoho support team member do this to my computer, help me fix an issue I was having with the CRM with one of my demo accounts. And instead of me emailing them back and forth or being stuck on the phone, having someone talk me through what to do, because I really don't know much about coding or computers, so it was a coding issue. So they simply requested access to my computer, and then they came in and I could see their mouse moving around, and they fixed it really, really easily. And so if you have an IT team, or if you have some remote assets, I would definitely recommend looking into Assist a bit more. It supports file transfer, voice and video chat, and you can reboot, and there's also multiple monitor support as well. And then from there, the IT person can also share their screen for a demo or for training. And this is what your end of the application looks like. So you would just put in their email address and start now, request access, or you could schedule access as well. And then it's also available on mobile. Okay, so moving on to our productivity tools, and this is the last thing I want to show you today. So this is our Office suite, and they are, like I said before, available sort of under WorkDrive. And this is Writer, Sheet, and Show. So I'm not going into much detail in this webinar, but in tomorrow's one, I will show you a bit of Writer and Sheet as well. This presentation was built using Zoho Show. It's, it's really easy to use. It's similar to other products on the market. The benefit of using the Zoho Office Suite is that if you are using WorkDrive and the other applications as well, they sort of work together really easily. And so this is a screenshot of Zoho Writer. You can see that we've got a document here. We can share it with our team. So you can, and then lots of people ask, if two people are working on a document, can you see them typing? Yes, you can. You can see where the other person is. You can see who's viewing the document. You can see who has viewed the document if you've shared it with a team. You can do all of these, formatting, different editing tools. There's also now another tab available called Automate. So you can bring in spreadsheets into here. You can also import data from the CRM. So you can have information show up in Writer that is being pulled from the CRM. You can digitally sign documents in Zoho Writer. We have Zoho Sign, which if you're a Zoho One customer, you would have that as well. If not, and you use something like DocuSign or Adobe Sign, that integrates with Zoho Writer as well. So then within Zoho Writer, there's also a built-in smart writing assistant. So if you have heard of Zia, which is the Zoho Intelligence Assistant, she picks up on spelling mistakes for you. And so it's basically like a spelling and grammar bot, but she also understands the context of your writing and suggests some really useful changes based on, what you've written. And then Zoho Writer comes with a bunch of different templates. You can share your work easily and collaborate with your team. If you are the owner of the document, you can turn on this little button down here, which will track all of the changes, which basically means that if you have that turned on and someone were to come into the document and were to delete some things or were to add some things, that stuff wouldn't actually be deleted. It would just sort of be shown in green as crossed out along the text, and the new text would be written next to it. So beyond that, there's also an activity log, so you can see who has done what, and then you can add comments really easily. It's just a really good tool to collaborate. I use this again very heavily when I'm writing, emails or some template for this webinar or something like that, and then that my teammates can come in and have a look at it and make comments and make edits without deleting anything. And I have all of that information saved within the activity log as well. So also within Writer, Click is built into it. So you can see this little chat bar down here. If you were to click that, that would open up Click, and all your contacts and channels would be available, so you could continue your conversation with your teammates. Also with Writer is that you can, or with WorkDrive really, is that it's available offline. So you can sync it with your desktop. So meaning if you work offline often, so I know that, we're not really traveling anymore, but when I used to travel, I would have my WorkDrive available offline and I would be able to edit documents. Then when I were to come back online, all of that information would update to the cloud. So you can edit offline as well. That's just really helpful to know. And then Writer, Sheet, and Show are actually available for free. We have free versions of those products always. So even after Zoho Remotely turns into a paid product, later down the track, you can have those products for free as well. And then we have Zoho Sheet. And this is our online spreadsheet creator. It has very similar capabilities to Writer in terms of sharing and collaboration and pre-built templates. It integrates with Zoho Forms, so you can bring in data. Say if you are collecting data from a form on your website, you can bring that data into Sheet, and then you can take that spreadsheet into Writer as well. So if you wanted to create a nice little document, I've done that recently. I had some information in Sheet and I brought that into Writer, and it just looks a lot cleaner. So you can bring your spreadsheets within the Word document as well. The text document, I should say. And then we have Zoho Show. So again, very similar to the other apps in the Office suite. We have some different themes, and you can set animations and transitions, and you can collaborate really easily. It's available with Apple TV as well, and Android and your Apple Watch, and is compatible with PowerPoint as well. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I just wanted to go through some resources now. Paul said, how can we get your email address? Here it is. So my email address is lyra.m@zohocorp.com. Feel free to email me if you have any extra questions. And then if you would like to learn some more about Zoho Remotely, you can head to this link here. And we have some really good resources available as well. If you take away the word resources and add in webinars, you will go to our webinar page where you can register for the webinar tomorrow as well. Colin said, for Australia, yes, please, for tomorrow. Yep, let me get that link for you. So here we go. I'll just type in the link there. And then if you just scroll down, you can, or I'll just show you here actually. Webinars, there we are here. And then, okay, it was just showing, here we go. So if it doesn't load, try and refresh your page. And there's my one tomorrow as well at 10 a.m. again, so you can register for that. I would also highly recommend calling our concierge team. So that is, they're not a sales team. They're sort of like a support team, and they you can have a free half-an-hour call with a Zoho expert to discuss your specific requirements and how to make, the best use of Zoho remotely. So I would highly recommend doing that. You can go to zoho.to/remotely-concierge if you are wanting that, or you can just type in, pretty sure, Zoho free concierge call, and that link should pop up. Hope you'll have a great rest of your day or night, and hopefully I'll see you at the webinar tomorrow or down the track. Okay, bye now.